Hey guys, my name is Chelsea. Welcome to my channel. Today I'll be reviewing Maxxxine XXX. I just saw it this past Friday and I'm just going to talk about my thoughts on it. And it's going to be more of an analysis, so there will be spoilers just as a heads up. But this is about a woman named Maxxxine who is an actress in the corn industry and she's trying to transfer over to be considered more serious in Hollywood. The film opens up with her walking into this airplane hangar. She sits down, does a really great monologue, and all the producers ask her to take her top off. And so I feel like this is a commentary on what acting is possibly like in Hollywood for women. I don't know, obviously, but just from what I took from the film, it's very much like even though you do have acting chops, it's not enough, and you have to show your body, you have to be vulnerable, and you have to take it a step further in order to get further into your career. And so, of course, Maxine is used to this because she works in a certain industry, but she wants to really get to fame. She wants to have the acclaim and she wants to be famous. And so she will do anything it takes. She mentions in her audition that she's almost 33 and that she's not where she wants to be yet. So she's a hustler. She works multiple jobs. And when all the other female actresses are asking her to hang out and go to parties, she declines and she's like, no, I'm going to work. I'm trying to get to a certain place in my life and I will not stop until I get there. So there is this quiet confidence about Maxine, and it's interesting because she actually does not have a lot of lines in this film. She doesn't really talk that much, especially when she encounters the female and the male cop duo. She does not talk to him at all. Like, he'll ask her questions and she just completely ignores him, which I feel like is also a point in this film is like female empowerment in a way. I hate that phrase, but what I'm really trying to say is just like how women have to watch out for each other. The director of the Puritan film is female, and so she talks to Maxine and is trying to help her out, telling her what she has to do in the industry in order to get to where she needs to be, how Hollywood will spit you out and it does not care, and that she really needs to do the work and she needs to be on her game in order to get the fame that she wants. And so that's also a very big part of the film, and it takes place in 85. So the Night Stalker is running rampant. He's unaliving women all around town, and there's this other person in town who's unaliving women, and we have to figure out how that person is tied to Maxine and how she will help the police, hopefully, and how she will help other women to not become victims as well. There's a scene where the female detective is talking to Maxine, and she's like, we need to help the next victim so this does not happen to her, you know. And Maxine's like, well, I helped myself out, I took care of myself, and this next victim can take care of herself. But then she has this epiphany, like, maybe I can change this narrative, maybe I can help the next woman out. And so I feel like that's that sort of sprinkle in the film as well, just like watching out for one another. I feel like A24 Productions did a really good job of showing the 80s, like not only with the costumes and the props, like they had like the old Gatorade bottles and people were smoking everywhere, like the really tight jeans and the big hair, but the way that the camera actually captured all of these scenes is really interesting. Like it seemed like there was some sort of filter on there, maybe like a smoky lens, but the colors were very subdued. LA just seemed very like ethereal and sort of like dreamy in a lot of ways, which was really cool to compare that to what was actually going on in the film, which was, very slashery. It had very like horror elements in that sort of way. Like whenever someone was cut or there was a lot of blood, the camera panned or like zoomed up on that very, very closely. You can like see the blood coming out. So it was very gory and it's very reminiscent of the typical slasher film. But Maxine was not a damsel in distress in any sort of way. She very much took care of herself. She carried protection with her. She was very violent when she needed to be, and she was not afraid to get in someone's face if they were trying to harm her or following her home. And so, like I said, that sort of quiet confidence really came through. And she was also very unapologetic. Like, she did not apologize for the industry she was in. She encountered a lot of people on the street who knew who she was, but she was just like, okay, like, this is a job. Like, it's a job, I'm not going to like pander to you or try to act like I'm like super excited that you know me or anything. Like, I'm just going to move on with my life kind of thing. And that was really like cool to see in the film as well. And I feel like the men in the film in general were very much props. Like I mentioned before, the male detective, she didn't really listen to him, and her best friend was gay, so it was like she knew that he wasn't trying to get with her, and she, like, the people that she had around her were very close and very selective, and she really did a good job of making sure that her world was her goal to become famous, and she did not have a lot of distractions. Also in this movie, there is a really big plot twist, which I was not expecting. I did not even see it coming, which really like warmed my heart. I love watching films where I don't know what the plot twist is going to be, because mostly when I watch them, like I can kind of tell. But for this one, in the beginning, there was this home movie that was with Maxine and her dad was kind of harsh with her in the home video, but I didn't really think much of it until later when we realized that he is the killer that's in LA. And like that whole realization that came into place for me was just like really well done and really shocking, and it also made a whole lot of sense. Like it made sense why she had to get away from him, and he was like very much into religion, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but he really took it a step too far and it fed his ego, and he was not safe for Maxine to be around, so it made sense as to why she got away from him. At the same time, you could also see how he really planted a seed in her to not accept any less from her life. Like that was a big quote in the movie. They said that together was like, I will not accept a life that I do not deserve. And so all the actions and all of the decisions that she made resonate with that very, very much so. And so it was weird because he's kind of responsible for her having that thought process and that like motto in her life, but also he obviously was not like a good father to her and she had to get away from him. But yeah, I just feel like this whole movie in general was just really well done in terms of the editing as well. Like there wasn't any scene there that was unnecessary. When they did the flashback with the two different timelines, I feel like we got in that timeline, came back very quickly, and I just feel like very intentional. There was no extra fluff in that movie at all. The acting, I feel like, also from all the different characters was really well placed, and I feel like they all worked together very well. I just really loved it. I feel like it was a movie that was an instant classic for me. As soon as she came on screen and walked into that airplane hangar, I was like, yeah, I'm down for her. I want to see where she goes. I want to see where she takes things. I want to follow her to the end of this movie, and that's really when I can tell it's going to be a film that I want to watch. You know, like I wasn't bored at any point of it. I wasn't like looking around the theater trying to get out of there. I was very engaged the entire time. And also, fantastic cast. We had Lily Collins, Halsey, Kevin Bacon was the detective that was hired to find her, and I hated him. So I was like, okay, he's a great actor. And Giancarlo Esposito was in there, and I was not expecting him, and I just love him in general. So when he came on screen, I was like, yes, I'm so glad he's here. But he was a really great agent. He was a really great agent for her. He definitely helped her out a lot, and she definitely could trust him. And he just did a really good job of believing in her, believing in her career, and really just helping her out as well. Like I said, she surrounded herself with like the best people that could help her out. And I feel like that's also like showing how important that is, because I feel like I've heard a lot about LA being very fake, and she made sure that she surrounded herself with people who were real and who could actually take her to where she needed to go. I loved it. So yeah, those are my thoughts on Maxxine. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.